Gets there at like 3 a.m. They load in all night long until like 11 a.m. Then they have like a couple hours off. He goes back at 6 p.m., does the changeover, then
Most people think they know Billie Eilish. The oversized hoodies, the haunting whisper, the girl who wrote a Grammy-winning album in her brother's bedroom at 13. But in a string of revealing interviews that have quietly shaken her fanbase to its core, Billie has said things nobody expected to hear, not from her, not now, and not with this kind of raw honesty. Some fans cried. Some went silent.
It's exciting to me because, you know, I guess people didn't know, so it's cool that they know, but ooh, I'm nervous talking about it.
I'm gay, you're safe.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but no, I am.
Some said it completely changed how they see her music. And once you hear what she actually said, it is hard to unsee it too. Billie Eilish built her entire identity on mystery. She became famous by keeping people at arm's length, hiding her body inside baggy clothing, whispering instead of belting, refusing to play the pop star game everyone expected her to play. That carefully constructed distance was part of the appeal. So when she began sitting down for long-form conversations and peeling back every layer, the voice, the body, the fame, the future,
like moving forward, and I want everyone to be doing something that they feel passionate about and that they feel proud of and that makes them feel like the best version of themselves. And
audiences were not prepared for how unguarded she would be. This is not the Billie from 2019. This is something else entirely. The voice she never thought she would have. For years, Billie Eilish built a sound around restraint. Her voice was soft, breathy, close to a whisper, and for a long time, she genuinely believed that was all it would ever be. In a deeply candid interview on NPR's Fresh Air, she admitted something that stopped people mid-scroll. She said that when she started making music at 13, she assumed her voice would stay exactly as it was. Small range, no power, no belting. She thought that was simply the ceiling, and she had already made peace with it. What changed everything was a vocal coach. Billie described the experience as something that genuinely transformed her life. She had spent years recording in her brother Phineas O'Connell's bedroom, learning what her voice could do within tight, intimate spaces. But once she began working with someone trained specifically to develop the human voice, the ceiling she had accepted for years simply disappeared. On Hit Me Hard and Soft, listeners could hear it in real time, a fullness, a chest mix, a range that was never present on When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? The evolution was not subtle. It was the sound of someone discovering a version of themselves they did not know existed. Phineas, her brother and longtime collaborator, opened up in the same interview about what it felt like to watch that transformation from the inside. He described how Billie, as a 13-year-old who had barely ever sung into a microphone before, simply showed up and tried. He had been an amateur producer looking for anyone willing to record with him, and she was there. That accidental beginning, two homeschooled siblings turning a homework assignment into a songwriting exercise, is what eventually became one of the most decorated musical partnerships in recent memory, with multiple Grammys and 2 Academy Awards between them. But even with all of that success behind them, Billie had carried the quiet belief that her voice had limits. The interview made clear she no longer believes that at all. The unhappiest she has ever been was also the thinnest. This is the part of the interview that fans are still talking about months later. When the conversation shifted toward her body, Billie said something that cut through everything with surgical precision. She described going through an intense health journey a couple of years ago, losing significant weight, becoming stronger than she had ever been physically, and being completely, privately miserable the entire time. She did not frame it as a cautionary tale. She did not perform devastation for the audience. She said it plainly: she was thinner than ever and stronger than ever. She called it a not fun way to live. That statement landed hard because of everything that surrounded it. When Billie first appeared in public looking noticeably slimmer, the internet erupted. People praised her. Articles were written. Social media exploded with commentary about her appearance, as it always does when a woman's body changes in any visible direction. And all while that noise was happening, she was privately struggling with the truth that the thing people were celebrating was the period in her life when she felt the worst inside. Her song Skinny, from Hit Me Hard and Soft, is a direct window into that experience, even when the internal reality is entirely the opposite. Billie has always written from a place of lived experience, but Skinny felt different to fans, more exposed, more precise, like watching someone hold up a mirror to a cultural wound rather than just describe it from a distance. Selena Gomez and Demi Lovato have spoken openly over the years about similar cycles, where the moments they appeared most polished to the outside world were often the periods they were most fractured on the inside. But something about hearing Billie say it so directly, without softening it, hit differently. There is also the detail she shared about someone telling her mother, when Billie was just 12 years old, that she could be a model if she simply lost weight. 12 years old. She mentioned it almost in passing during a separate conversation in March 2025, but the sentence sat in the air long after she moved on. It explains so much: the oversized clothes as armor, the deliberate refusal to be physically evaluated, the years of choosing invisibility over scrutiny. None of it was random. It was all a response to a world that had already started grading her body before she was a teenager. The album, the tour, and the decision that shocked everyone. Here is the thing fans did not see coming. At the end of one of her final Hit Me Hard and Soft tour dates, Billie walked to the microphone and told the crowd something that sent the internet into an immediate tailspin. She said she knows that usually, when she finishes a tour, she adds more dates. She told them plainly that was not happening this time, because she had an album to make and things to do. That single announcement flipped the entire narrative. The assumption going into those final shows was that Billie would continue the pattern she had always followed: extend the tour, maximize the cycle, give the audience more time with the material. Instead, she drew a clean line. The tour was ending on schedule. New music was already the priority. Phineas had already confirmed it from his own stage in Berlin, telling a crowd that he and Billie had planned their respective tours, specifically so they would both be home at the same time to record together. What makes this even more significant is the context around how she felt about Hit Me Hard and Soft itself. In an interview in Australia, she admitted that she genuinely had no idea the album would be received the way it was. It debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200. Birds of a Feather became one of the most streamed songs of the entire year on Spotify. And through all of it, she sat with the private knowledge that she had not expected any of it to happen the way it did. Taylor Swift, Beyoncé, Kendrick Lamar, the artists operating at Billie's level tend to project a sense of total creative command, even when the reality is more complicated. Billie chose a different path. She said the quiet part out loud. She was surprised. She was unsure. She is still figuring out what comes next, and she is saying so directly to anyone willing to listen. She also revealed that she had set up a portable studio during the tour itself, recording ideas and snippets after shows in hotel rooms and tour buses. The fourth album is not an afterthought or a calendar obligation. It was being assembled in real time, between sound checks and exhaustion. In stolen hours at the end of long nights, Billie Eilish has always been an artist who told the truth. But in this recent wave of interviews, she has gone further than most artists dare to go, about her voice, her body, her unhappiness at her own peak, and her refusal to simply extend the machine because the machine is profitable. She is choosing to stop, to go home, to make something new. And in an industry that rarely rewards that kind of discipline, she is betting on herself in the most foundational way possible. The next chapter of Billie Eilish is already being written. And if these interviews are any indication of where her head is, it is going to say things people are not ready to hear again.